Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT Pacific Stage 2. My guest at this time is none other than FrosT of Talon, coming off of their victory over BOOM Esports in day one, in week one of said competition, starting off on the right foot, which is definitely the right position for a team to have. So, FrosT, thank you so much for the opportunity. Congrats on the W. It was a rather clean performance from my point of view, but obviously, given what you said in the press conference and the post-match interview some time ago before the recording, you don't see it as such. So, asking you, first off, start off, what are your thoughts on just the state of the team after coming off of this match?
So, I mean, I'm a little bit of a Debbie Downer from this because, yeah, I mean, I'm not really coming out of this like so positive as I think other people might, and it isn't that like, oh, we made mistakes and all that cliche stuff. I think it's more just like, um, had we done what we needed to do in season one, we would have saw Boom to qualify for Toronto, and that wasn't the case. And now that you see the result, it seems like we just missed out on an opportunity there. So for me, it's more just frustration of like, man, when we're good, we're good. But oftentimes we can't really replicate the sort of consistency that you expect if you want to be able to win tournaments. And I think that's just the stuff I'm battling with. Because yeah, I mean, today was a pretty good result. The veto went a much different way than I expected, and it still turned out to be in our favor in a 2-0. And I think my brain is already on Zeta on Sunday. Like we won't be having a day off. We'll be practicing tomorrow, which you heard Cruz talk about. So, I'm glad other people are positive and they like that, they're showing support, and I appreciate all that stuff. But me, I'm already on Zeta, and I already know that like, when we're at our best, we can compete with anybody. The problem is, how do I get us week after week after week to continue to show the consistency needed in order to win?
You brought up an interesting point right at the very end of the presser regarding Boom and the fact that they brought out Neon on Icebox. As you said, nobody has ever really used it in a good while, except for one team, which is Heretics. Did that
Yeah,
surprise you at all
very.
when you saw that happen?
Yes, and I love that pick. And I told Six Fingers that I'm a big fan of Neon there. I had Governor when I was in North America, and he was incredible on that map with that agent. And I mean, I mean, you can basically go on his Twitter. I know I'm shouting out this guy's Twitter, but you can go on his Twitter and just go back and look at all his Neon highlights on Icebox, and you'll just be like, dude. And almost all those highlights were in scrims too. It's like the agent has been grossly underplayed on that map, I believe. Obviously, she got nerfed, so it's like harder to justify her now. But even early last year, we were running Neon on a bunch of maps, and we even had an Icebox comp for her. Um, but Icebox, we weren't able to show it. But like when she had two stuns and her ult was better. Like, man, she is actually so underrated and underappreciated. And I thought because of the questioning that Cruz got, I thought people should, you know that actually Neon is quite good on that map, especially if you have a user that um, is very talented with the agent. And I thought that they deserved a lot of credit for bringing it out because we did not expect that pick. Unfortunately for them, I have a lot of experience with that agent, so I kind of knew what was coming even without seeing anything. And then obviously we had Sage, which makes Neon's life so much more difficult. They didn't know what our comp was, so it was like a perfect blind counter, but Neon is very good and they deserve a ton of credit for being able to bring that out because I love that agent on that map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and still, like at the end of the day, you guys were able to overcome that and then start off this group stage with a 1-0 record. Going back a little bit onto just sort of the versatility that Boom showed, but more so looking at your team. Obviously, another thing that was pointed out regarding your squad is the role changes, and there's a lot of talk about Thai going into the duels, but obviously I got to mention about Premier going into Sentinel, and then also, as you said, um, Cruz going over into his new respective role. And so,
Yeah.
I wanna point it to a different direction. Given that, this switch has been done at this point of the year, at the start of stage two. Sure, there's a little bit of leg room for you to make this kind of role switch, but on the other hand, there's also the risk that like maybe making the role switch might like affect the team in a negative way, given that like you got little chances to do this, and if you guys don't actually
I
like
know.
pull it off, then yeah, it's gonna be
It's
pretty
crazy.
bad.
I know.
So like, how do you view the switch? Do you view it
I
as
hate
like
it. I
a
do not
yeah?
like, I would love some consistency year after year, month after month, season after season. And I haven't been able to get it. And, obviously, it's my fault. I can make the decisions. I get it. But like in a perfect world, I would have loved to just build off of, last season, build off of last year, build off of all these things. But I haven't been able to do that. And for me, it's frustrating. But at the same time, I have a job to do, and our job is to win. And, you know, unfortunately, um you know job security is like very interesting in Valorant, in this league. We don't have time to develop players, so I would love to have developed Thighs, controller. I would love to develop Primmy's duelist. I would love to be able to do this and have 2 or 3 years to sort of get them to the level where then they can start winning everything. The problem is we don't have that time. And if we lose, we're probably going to play like 11 games out of the year, right? Like if we go 0 and 0 and 12. So we have to win. And given the meta shifts and everything that was going on, and the map pool and everything, it was in our best interest to, I think, move people around. And Primy enjoys playing flex. I think Primy, um, I think he enjoys the newness map to map, similar to what Ban. So Ban didn't enjoy it. Ban just could do it, therefore he did it. I think Primy genuinely enjoys being a flex. So I think that, he's more keen on doing that instead of playing a specific agent or a specific role for, let's say like a whole year. And I think because of that, and because of Thai's willingness to, transition and overall skill and, blah, 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 it made a conversation, easier. And then Cruz is adaptable. So then it was like, okay, well, if I want more agents and I want a deeper character pool, if I move Cruz to controller, I can play every controller, right? And then Jit has the experience to subsidize it on the back end, right? You saw a bind where Jit's playing Astra. So if I wanted more flexibility because I didn't have it last season, I needed to make changes, role changes. So it was like pick your poison, right? It's either we keep the things the way we were and build on it, or I add flexibility, with a new meta, with a new map, and start over. And it's just, with presented with all the options, you make the best decision you can, and then you try your best.
I mean, comparing that to last year at that same point of the year in the calendar, you guys were able to make it work and qualify to champions. See the arrival of Primi and all that good stuff. You look at that and now compare this to this version of the team. How do you kind of look at your personal confidence level that the team would be able to make that same run, make that same ascension, to champions in Paris later this year?
I'm still very confident. I think this team is better overall than the last one. But I think the last roster last year was more dangerous because week to week, no one knew what was coming. And every map and every week we change comps on almost every map because we can guess the pool correctly. I think that makes you so scary in a league where you play everyone once, basically. I think that is winning like that, I think, is easier than doing what we're doing now. But the overall talent on the team, I think, is superior. And I think this roster um, has a brighter future. And I think in the short term can make deeper runs overall because of the talent. I think the style of play is a lot more predictable, though. Look, man, we have 3 rookies. So,
Yeah.
we don't have this large tapestry of experience that we can draw from, right? Like that also made it easy with the last roster because Governor had been a professional player for 4 years. Ban had been a professional player for 4 years. Ban had already been in VCT. Ban had played for T1. Ban had played different role. Like, you're talking a massive experience difference. So I think the best way to categorize it is we were more dangerous last year, but we're better this year.
course, and hopefully this momentum can continue into the match against Zeta and then everything else beyond that. Frost, thank you so much for the
Yeah.
opportunity once again,
Anytime,
and
brother.
best of luck in the future.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Bye bye.
You too, man.